Alright, so Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I've recently played through, almost dang near through the complete end of the game, and so I'm sure some of you who actually kind of give two craps about what I have to say are wondering what I felt of it. I'm not going to stray too far from what you've probably read from most reviews, most positive reviews. The gameplay is absolutely addictive. The free slice, free blade mode works really well. It really brings something new to this genre that if you're going to do a cyborg game, absolutely this is the way to go with this. Between the fast-paced nature of the game, the breakup of environments, the fact that it features Denver, a very accurate Denver of all places. I know I was born there. Um, really adds to things, and the little Easter eggs really feel like you can feel Kojima's input into the game on many levels. There's little things that you can use the slice mechanic to, say, take the tape away from a taped up bikini model, which I'm sure people will be crying sexism about, and frankly, I don't care. If you're offended by an Asian bikini model as an Easter egg, then you're overly sensitive and you have no say in this type of discussion here. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I liked that. I have to disagree with what is it, Max Schofield. I didn't feel like Raiden's voice acting was horrendous. I didn't feel like he was trying too hard to be, you know, Snake with his gravelly voice at times. It didn't feel out of character. Nothing felt all that much out of place, and I didn't feel like the old whiny Raiden from Metal Gear Solid 2 was back in any capacity. I didn't really feel that off the character, and it's not like I didn't try. Halfway through my playthrough, I was watching Schofield's review, and as well as many other video reviews that are on YouTube. And I found that my own views were very much in line with what their views were with things. My only major problem with the game would probably be kind of twofold. It's a bit short. That's not entirely bad. This is one of those few cases where the game's story arc does seem to finish satisfactorily within the roughly 6-hour gameplay, although considering how many times I've had to play through earlier levels to be able to level up, to be able to beat certain bosses, it's been more than just 5, 6 hours worth of gameplay. It was actually something that was more akin to 7 or 8 hours. But again, this game satisfies. So why does the game length matter? It doesn't in this case. That's why I was saying this game would be worth the price to many degrees because it was worth it. Now, my only two gripes with it, one of which isn't entirely the game's fault, and that one I'll get to right now, is region-specific DLC and Skrillex. Look, I'm going to make so many caveats here so you understand that I'm not just hating on Skrillex because I don't like the guy. I actually have a couple of his songs that I find interesting that I've had in my playlist, but I'll get to him in a minute because I'm really getting sick and tired of the prevalence of Skrillex in gaming, and I'll get to that why. Now, here in America, you cannot get the Gray Fox costume for this game unless you pre-ordered from GameStop. And I've looked at the previews for the list of DLC. No Gray Fox. So it's not one of excuse me. It's not one of these things where the DLC is just going to come out later for pay. So the people who got it for free can be happy that they got to play with it early and for free, and the rest of us have to pay. No, they have no plans on making a 4-play DLC of that, and that's bullcrap. It's every bit of bullcrap of. See, I would have probably bought Ace Combat, Combat Horizon, because it would have had, or it has in Japan, a Macross skins for the F14s. They look great. That kind of DLC would sell through the roof. Guess what? It's Japan only. Guess what game I didn't buy? Ace Combat Horizons. And part of this makes me want to not support this game just based off the fact that I hate region-specific DLC bullcrap. It's favoritism. It should be across the board or not at all, because then I have to go out and hunt for a European edition of Metal Gear Rising, because it's built in to the European and the Japanese game. Guess what it's not built into? The American edition. Screw you, Konami. That's strike one. Now, the second one was actually, it came into at the boss battle at the end. I started having flashbacks to Far Cry 3 because Skrillex starts butting in on the action. When did we all get together and just decide that Skrillex needed to be in games at the most odd or inappropriate times? To me, I like some Skrillex songs, okay? I'm not trying to harp on Skrillex, but I don't feel that he heightens or makes situations better. When he started coming in and butting in during the field burning exercise that you do during Far Cry, I didn't like it. And during some of the later missions, when Skrillex starts just piping in, I didn't like it. It was off-putting. It was painful to hear while playing the game. It's out of place. It just bugs me. It bugs the hell out of me. And the fact that it's there at the end of Rising really bothered me. The other thing that would be more nitpicking than anything is getting those arms for the IDs for bigger unlocks is a lot harder than I feel like on some levels it should be. But the more time I spent trying to get those arms, the more I felt like, well, hey, at least they don't give it to you. And it gives you a reason to really practice that blade mode so you can get that left arm, and then you can get that spine with the electrolytes and absorb it. I like the storyline. I like most of the characters. I like Sunny making a comeback. I like the fact that she has the little headphones on that I think is a throwback to Snake's character, Pliskin, from the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 2, if I remember correctly. I think that was their throwback because I believe that Sunny admires Snake, and this was just a little thing that they did. I like Sunny. I like how she developed as a character in this. I like the set pieces. I like the combat. I like the fast-paced nature of it. I like the fact that they took some of the best things out of Bayonetta that Platinum Games can do well, mixed it in with some of the best things that Kojima can make really work well, and created this situation as well. Like the MIBs, the men in boxes thing, was really funny. It was a really nice touch, and it's something to go back through the levels and try to find those boxes that are out of place and get those MIBs. It's a little touch, and that's the point, is this game has a lot of little touches, and the philosophy that's explored in it. I mean, part of me finds myself partially siding with the politician at the end. Really do. On some levels. But his methods of doing things, as well as some of the other items that go along with it, obviously I couldn't agree with. And I like how Raiden puts things as well. It really, and it's a game. It's a game that really has you starts asking questions. It starts asking moralistic questions as well. And I think there's nothing entirely bad about that. This is a game to hold up to everybody who says, "Oh, violent video games, oh my god," and say, no. Here's a game that's actually telling you, well, you think you know why you're killing these guys, but is this really why you're killing them? And even though I know there's no scientific credence whatsoever to the violent video game debate, this at least lends some credence to the medium, a medium that needs defending. And say, look, we can be very bloody and ultra-violent and still say, well, but why are you being bloody and ultra-violent? Are you sure you know why you're doing what you're doing? And that's a great touch. So my recommendation outside of my gripes about Skrillex and the DLC bullcrap, which I do feel as a consumer is bullcrap. It's denying me something that, as a Metal Gear fan who has supported the series for so long, feels like a bit of a slap in the face. But that's not the game itself's fault, though the fact that Konami doesn't build it into the American copy of Metal Gear is complete and utter bullcrap. But I digress. At the end of the day, this game didn't need an abundance of patching. It didn't need special things to get it installed like certain games of recent mention. It didn't overheat my PS3. Excuse me. It didn't overheat my PS3. It didn't do anything to my system or to the gameplay experience that turned me off. It's got challenges to it. It's got things to it that really keep you engaged in the game. And I can't fault it for my two gripes with the game because everything else is so well done and so polished. And I'm hearing talks of even more spin-offs. Yes, please. Because this works well, and I would like to see more with Raiden, or at least with maybe some other cyborg character to bring in, because I like the world that this all inhabits. I like how this all works together because it really, really comes together really well. And this is more of what games should be. If you're going to give me a short game, this should be one of the models for it. Something that's engaging, that's fun, that's challenging, but not so overly frustrating that you want to quit halfway through. And it can still be a 5-hour game. That's not a bad thing. That would still hold its value in my view because I'm having so much ridiculous fun with this game. And the different ways that you can approach missions, the ways that you can go stealth or you can just go in slashing. Absolutely recommend it as a buy. I recommend it also as a rental. I have no problems with this game. I like it a lot. I highly recommend it.